Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Welcome to the first voice memo / podcast version of Emunah Until the Sunset. Emunah, generally translated as faith, is more accurately described as the acceptance that God is involved in every minute detail of our lives. So as usual, I'm going to be talking about the Parsha. And this week we're lucky. We have a double portion, Tazria, meaning conceives, and Metzora, the afflicted one. I'm going to be sharing some words that I heard from Rebbetzin Rachel Silber of Neve Yerushalayim, and she shared some teachings of the Lubavitcher Rebbe. So I'm going to start talking about Metzora, the second Parsha. Metzora meaning the afflicted one. So usually parshiot are named by the first significant word in the parsha. And what I mean by significant word is a word that isn't used super commonly. And so there's a few different versions of a sentence that are used in a lot of these parshiot where God is giving over laws to Moshe, to then give over to Bnei Israel, to the children of Israel. And most of those parshiot start with something like, and God spoke to Moses saying, tell the children of Israel blank. And so in Metzora, that starts similarly, and God spoke to Moses saying, this shall be the law of the Metzora, of the afflicted one. So the first significant word is actually, this will be, Zot Tiyeh. So why don't we call this Parsha Zot Tiyeh? Why do we call it Metzora? Metzora is like the fourth word in. And it's interesting because what the Rebbe says is that Rambam and Rashi did call it Zot Tiyeh. The Rebbe says that only in later years did we start calling it Metzora. Why? Because our generation, our world right now, we are the afflicted ones. So there are two ways to be inspired to do tshuva, to repent. There's external and internal inspiration. External can be hearing a beautiful song or being in gorgeous nature and going to someone's house for Shabbat and being inspired, whatever it is, external. But our tzaddikim say that the better way to be inspired is something internal. Why? When the inspiration that's external fizzles, so does then your commitment. If you wake up one day and you're not in a great mood, you don't feel super inspired, but you choose to go and do a mitzvah, to go do a good deed or a commandment, even if you're doing it with less fire, less inspiration, that is all yours. You inspired yourself. Even if it's less showy or nice to see, it's all yours and you own it. This reminds me of a story that I cannot remember the origin of, so if you do know it, please tell me. It's about a rabbi who works in a yeshiva, and he fulfills all of his commandments, all the mitzvot he has to do, everything he needs to do, but he just doesn't have the fire in him when he does those mitzvot. One of his fellow teachers is this guy with so much fire in him. He teaches with such joy and prays with such passion. And so the uninspired rabbi comes to his inspired fellow teacher and explains his predicament, saying, I'm still doing everything. I'm kind of just forcing myself to do it, but I don't feel it. And the inspired rabbi says something surprising. He says, I couldn't be happier getting up in the morning and davening for hours and teaching for hours. This isn't hard for me. I love doing it. But you are getting up and still doing the mitzvot, even though you don't feel it. I can't imagine the zchut, the merit that you are getting by doing what you're doing. Our mitzvot, our desire to do good, even if it doesn't look nice on the outside, is extremely admirable. So like I said earlier, in older times, when Rashi and the Rambam called this parsha Zot Tiyeh, we call it Metzora, the afflicted one, but they called it Zot Tiyeh, it will be. They called it that because they knew there was more to come. Though obviously they yearned for the coming of the Mashiach, of the Messiah, they wanted, history to end. They knew that there was more history to be told. So for them, Metzora was in the future. But we are now in that time where we are Metzora. It's the future now, and so that's why we call it by that name. So even in this truly afflicted, in every sense, time, sickness, corruption, etc., we have the choice to do our best. And why do we even bother? Because our best, our effort is valuable and ours and beautiful. I heard a really beautiful shiur, a really beautiful lesson by Rabbi Yonah Aryeh Refson from Neve Yerushalayim about the energy of the upcoming month of Iyyar, the upcoming Hebrew month of Iyyar. And the energy of Iyyar is healing. And the first step to healing is dreaming. And what exactly is dreaming? Dreaming is wanting, yearning, hoping for something. But then the day that we get our dream, we stop dreaming because it's now our reality. We lose the dream. Right now, we're in a really big period of dreaming, obviously, because we want this time of coronavirus to be over. We're really hoping, praying, and dreaming that our reality will be a healed world. The special thing about this particular dream is that it's not just your personal goal, your personal dream. The entire world is rallying around this same end goal. And that's a unique place to be in. So I just encourage us all to keep hoping and dreaming and praying that we will have a reality of a happy, healed world. Have a beautiful, beautiful Shabbat. Chodesh Tov for this month of Iyyar. And thank you so much for listening.